Good day to one and all. My name is Pabalo Molepo and our topic is load shedding and its impact on undergraduate students living off campus at the University of Johannesburg. First things first, what is load shedding? So, according to Mataji, load shedding is the interruption of an electricity supply to avoid excessive load on the generating plant. Load shedding is the act or practice of temporarily reducing the supply of electricity to an area to avoid overloading the generating plants. Recently, students have suffered from the blackout of electricity in South Africa. These electricity bridges were put in place to reduce the load on something, especially the interruption of an electricity supply to avoid excessive load on the generating plant. However, there are multiple negative effects towards reducing the electricity supply to areas where higher institutions of learning are situated. Moreover, due to the difficulty of going online without electricity and the inability of students to access their classes, load shedding has a significant detrimental influence on students' lives. Our research question is, how has load shedding impacted the University of Johannesburg's undergraduate students' study schedules? For this research, the research methodology that we used was the qualitative research. Research methodology are the techniques that are used to select and analyze information about a certain topic. Group K4 is using the qualitative research method to analyze how load shedding affects first-year students at the University of Johannesburg. The method that we will be using, which is the qualitative method of research, will look into the students who are affected by load shedding, how they manage to work around the power cuts, and how they manage to keep grinding through the power cuts. And how they manage to keep grinding through their schoolwork whilst experiencing a power cut or a blackout. Lastly, we will investigate the strategies put in place by the residences and institutions to ease the impact of load shedding on their students. The intent of this is to conduct a research on the South African energy crisis and to draw down the research. We will be focusing on students of higher learning facilities or institutions. We will also be conducting interviews with students and reviewing their findings. Furthermore, these findings will provide framework experience from students who experience power blackouts, in residences, and so to contribute extended understanding of how negatively these power blackouts affect students who don't have a backup plan for when they don't have electricity and when they can't progress seeing their studies during that period. In our sample, we will be asking students 10 questions on how load shedding has affected.
According to March 2017, load shedding is an interruption of an electricity supply to avoid excessive load on the generating plant. According to OSHA 2022, load shedding is implemented whenever the generating units are taken off for maintenance, repairs, or refueling. According to Thompson 2014, load shedding was introduced in the year 2007, the last month of the year. But in South Africa, we started to experience load shedding in April 2008. According to Mochi 2017, South Africa started to experience load shedding because of the country failing to build new power stations in order to keep up with the economic growth and replacing the aging generation plants. In 1998, the Department of Minerals and Energy stated, I quote, "Eskom's generation capacity surplus will be fully utilized by the year 2007. According to Mbele 2018, the warning was ignored, and as predicted that South Africa would run out of energy in the year 2007 and had to implement load shedding. Since the year 2007.
Good day. So my name is Ndozo Hlope and I will be discussing the impact of load shedding on students' academics. So, a study conducted by Goldberg in 2015 reveals that South Africa is currently experiencing an electricity crisis. So, to that, so in addition to that, it is difficult to study without electricity, which could result in students not reaching their desired goals and marks. Students use computers to prepare their assignments and take exams. These computers need electricity to work. With load shedding, these activities are unfortunately impossible to complete. This in turn makes the students lose all the unsaved work. In addition to that, a study conducted by Kakaputua in 2021 states that slow internet speeds results in students being unable to run required computer software and miss their continuity of online lectures. So, Zayman claims that university campus students are having a tough time due to electricity crisis. The grades of the students are also affected due to the late submissions of the assignments and homeworks. He continues to state that load shedding has negative effects on the health of students. Negative effects on the health of students as the students' eyesight get increased stress due to load shedding, which results in their eyesight being weaker. A research conducted by Onvek Buzi 2021, a significant proportion of students mentioned that emails take time to go through and that electricity could be cut off without warning for 5 hours or more, which thus hinders their workflow. So basically, load shedding really impacts the students living on off-campus residents, because some of the off-campus residents don't have backup power, which makes it difficult for the students to continue to finish their work, continue studying. Basically, our research has scrutinized all the negative impacts load shedding has on students in the University of Johannesburg living off-campus residents. Thank you.
In conclusion, in this research we have looked at what load shedding is. We have concluded that load shedding is when there is not enough electricity available to meet the demand from all Eskom customers. So it could be necessary to interrupt supply to certain areas. Also, load shedding is when there's a power cuts in one or more parts of power distribution system. We have also concluded that load shedding overall has a negative impact on students' schoolwork and their health. So the findings of this research reveal what load shedding is, how it came about, how it affects University of Johannesburg students, and how their work is affected. Load shedding has far-reaching implications on the whole fabric society. The government is facing a lot of challenges across the country, but admit that this problem urgent and permanent to save the nation from economic collapse. That load shedding is when we have power cuts in one or more parts of power distribution system. We have also concluded that load shedding overall has negative impact on students' schoolwork and their health. The findings of this research reveal what load shedding is and how it came about and how it affects University of Johannesburg students and how their work is affected. Load shedding has far-reaching implications on the whole fabric society. The government is facing a lot of challenges across the country, but admit that this problem urgently and permanently to save the nation and economic collapse.